Hello and welcome to a brand new Parry's Pickups. Now first of all, apologies, it's been a while since we've done a video. Basically I've made the move from Denmark back to the UK, so it's been a long process and yeah, anyway, I'm here now, so you won't see those familiar Danish surroundings anymore, but I think you guys remember this place, where I live in the UK. I've seen a few videos, and for the meantime at least, this is where all the videos are going to be coming from. Just to get that out of the way. So yeah, it's been Christmas just recently, so that's been a very exciting time, you know, got a couple of gaming gifts. But actually we're not going to talk about them in this episode. We're actually going to focus on some other games I've picked up around this time. Next time we'll talk about the Nintendo Switch, which is something I picked up at Christmas. But these games were all picked up either just before Christmas or around Christmas, New Year. First one, we'll start with the oldest game out of the bunch, which is a game I picked up while I was still back in Denmark, and that's Cars 3, Driven to Win. Okay, so this game was something I came to my attention when I heard it was like going to be released on the Wii U. I thought, great, I'll get that on the Wii U. It's like one of the last Wii U games. It's a game I fancy playing because I knew it was going to be a Mario Kart style racer, so I'll get it on the Wii U. Of course the Wii U copy wasn't the one to get, as I found out that the Wii U and Xbox 360, maybe, I don't know if it's on PS3 or not, but those versions anyway for last generation consoles didn't do 4-player. This one does, as does the PS4 version. The Switch version unfortunately doesn't do the 4-player as well, so to get the most out of the game I thought the complete package was here. Also the graphics are a little bit better than the Xbox One and PS4 than they are on the Switch and other versions. So this is the one to get. It's a good game, I can say that from the off. Really fun. I'd say not particularly accessible for young kids though, actually, because it's not as simple as Mario Kart. To succeed in this game you've got to understand how to play it, and there's quite a lot of unique mechanics involved in the racing. You've got to do quite a lot of stunts and stuff to build up boost power. And you know, there's shortcuts and there's a fairly, on its stand difficulty, fairly competitive AI as well. So it does take a little while to learn how to play the game, because of this reliance on doing certain actions in order to gain boosts, in order to catch up with the rest of the racers. But it's really well done, and it's got beautiful graphics, it's got great voice acting. I don't know if this is the original cast from the film, but whoever they are, they do a very good job of replicating the characters if they are indeed the original actors. And it's made by Avalanche, who have done some great games in the past. I think they're involved with the Disney Infinity games, and of course they did Just Cause and some other of those sorts of games, and Disney had them on board for a lot of their games, and they've done a sterling job here. And I don't know how well this game sold. I hope it sold reasonably well, because it is one of the best kart style races available with its own unique twist. If you played Cars 2 back on the last generation consoles, you'll know sort of what to expect with this one. It's very good, and I do recommend it. So while we're on the subject of Xbox One games, let's jump to a bargain. This was bought for $9.99 from Game in Southport, and this is the Legacy edition of COD Infinite Warfare, which also includes the Call of Duty Modern Warfare remaster. That's the campaign and the multiplayer. So considering how much this game was when it was first released and how much it still seems to be going for online in a lot of places, £10 is really good. They also had this deal on at Tesco, I noticed. Tesco had some great bargains on, but wasn't really anything I was after. The only things they didn't have with the Bioshock collection. They also had Prey for £10 as well. They sold out of what's Injustice 2. I wonder if that was a tenner also. But there were some great games available, and as was this, but this was sold out in Tesco as well. Luckily I'd already bought it in game. So I've played a little of both multiplayer modes on this game, and for me I really like Infinite Warfare. Of course I've played Modern Warfare back in the day, and it was fine and I enjoyed it, and it's a very capable, good game, but I know I find myself leaning towards the more modern Call of Duty multiplayers nowadays. I know there are the purists who'd argue that Modern Warfare was the pinnacle. Of course, it set the groundwork for everything else that was to come afterwards, but I was more into Infinite Warfare. Maybe that's because I've been playing a lot of Advanced Warfare lately, and it's probably most similar to that, so maybe going back to the older weapons was a little jarring for me, maybe. Also, I didn't do as well in Infinite Warfare. Maybe it's a greater test of... Sorry, not Infinite Warfare, in Modern Warfare. Maybe it's a greater test of skill than Infinite Warfare is, but yeah, this game's been rather cheap for a while. It got great reviews when it came out. This is Infinite Warfare we're talking about, and I've not played the single player yet, the campaign mode, but you know, maybe I should really finish Black Ops 2 before I do that, and then Black Ops 3. But yeah, really happy with that, especially for the price, 10 quid, can't grumble at that. So I played this game I'm about to show you last night for a little bit. It's called For Honor. You may have already heard of this. It's quite unique. It's been out a while now. It's made by Ubisoft, and I would compare this to something like, I was trying to think what it is similar to, maybe Dynasty Warriors initially, but then there's a great emphasis on the one-on-one combat. But there are times when you are ploughing through like a horde of enemies, never quite the same number you'd have in something like Dynasty Warriors or any of the more popular series now. They've applied that Dynasty Warriors formula to popular franchises, and seem to be doing rather well out of that. This, you can take control of either a Viking, a knight, or a samurai. And that's really cool that it's got this sort of historical angle to it. And the game looks great, and the ability to play three very different types of warrior is quite enticing as well. The combat involves, when you're in one-on-one fights, judging your opponent's attacks, knowing which angle to block from, and then choosing which angle to attack from based on how their stance is. It's a little bit like boxing, to be honest, like a boxing game. But it adds this strategic element to one-on-one combat, which works really well. The controls are set out well, so it's easy to pick up, I'd say. Initially, when you start the game, you get a tutorial. You get to design a character. I say design a character, you get to design their emblem and sort of choose what type of character you want to be. I think this is a character used in the multiplayer modes. So you do that little bit. And then, depending on where you want to go to next, there's also another tutorial. I went on campaign mode, and there I was or story mode, and there I was faced with pretty much doing the same things again as a knight character. So within the story mode you sort of go through the various warriors and try them out basically. But there's a storyline going on too. I thought this game, as I said, is really unique and a lot of fun. So I would recommend trying this out. It's pretty cheap at the minute. I got it for, was it like $12.99 or something like that? Not too bad. This was off Shop 2. And yeah, it's got a great multiplayer base to it, so I think that's the main meat of this game, is in its multiplayer, which I've yet to even sample yet. Also bought this game from a friend Gareth, and we're going to play a little bit of it online when we get the opportunity. But yeah, I'd say there's not much like For Honor out there. It's pretty straightforward to pick up and play, and I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people. And lastly, in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about another of my recent pickups, and that is Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2. Or just Dragon Ball... Yeah, it's not got the Z now, has it? There you go. So, I did an unboxing of this collector's edition recently, and it's a fantastic collector's edition. I've got the Goku statue up there now, and you can probably, if I just move this, you can see he's just peering out there next to the Trunks statue. Anyhow, played a little bit of this just now actually, and is basically what I thought. You make your own character, your own time patroller, and even though the character creation modes are quite limited, at least they are at the beginning. I made the character I thought was rather cool. You get to choose if you want to do a human or a Saiyan or a Namek or Frieza's race, which they just say Frieza's race on the character creation screen. And you get to do stuff like the hair and the colour of the hair and the eyes and the jaw, and if he's got a beard or anything like that. And then the costume you have at the beginning is set. You can just change the colours of it. But I made a character I thought was pretty cool. After some pretty lengthy load times, you kind of get into the game very slowly. There's a lot of wandering around at first, and that was initially a bit off-putting. You arrive in the Time Patroller's area. So this is like a little world, a map that you can run around and talk to various characters and do various things in. Your first task is to find the Elder Kai, and you're basically led on like a wild goose chase of going around asking where he is and getting told to go somewhere else. It doesn't take too long, but it's like not the greatest introduction, I think, to the game, because it all feels a little bit useless. But I guess that's because they're trying to say, oh, this is a wider world, you should explore it, you should try to get to talk to the other characters. But I just wanted to play the meat of this game, which is, it's a fighting game very similar to the Tenkaichi series, which began, I think, on the PS2. And so you eventually get into a training mode. Thinking, oh gosh, training mode. But it's pretty integral if you haven't played one of these type of games for a while. And I was very surprised how friendly the controls are, and they're not too confusing. They sort of make sense. They create some very fluid, exciting fights with a lot of variety in. Of course, when I saw the opponents, which were the typical Dragon Ball Z fodder, the Sabermen from the original Saiyan saga, you have to fight them, and I was thinking, oh, I've done this a billion times before in a billion different Dragon Ball Z games. But as I say, this fighting system feels like it's been refined very much, and it's really enjoyable to do the fights. More so than it was when I played, I think the Battle of Z it was called. That was the last type of one of these games I played. I did get Xenoverse 1 obviously, but hardly played Xenoverse 1. I really didn't spend a lot of time with it. I should have done. It would have put me in a better position of playing this one. But this is very good. So basically, time, you're a time patrol, so time is being, you've got to police time basically. You've got to ensure that all the timelines don't get changed. And so the concept's pretty cool, and there's some nice new characters to get introduced to, and as I say, the combat's really good. So very much only just done the beginning of this game, but I can recommend it, and I got it for a reasonable price. Obviously with the collector's edition and this being only £50, then it worked out rather well. I know I said in the collector's edition this game, in the video I did the unboxing, this game can be picked up fairly cheap. Recently I've seen it on the PlayStation Store for still around the £20 to £30 mark, so maybe it's not as cheap as I thought it was, but I think if you do your hunting around you'll probably find a nice affordable copy of this, especially since the brand new Dragon Ball Z game's coming out this month, near the end of the month, middle-ish. So great stuff, like it very much. So that's 4 games, and we've got plenty more to come. We're going to ease slowly back into doing these Parry's Pickups videos, so I hope you enjoyed the first one. I can't guarantee whether I'll be able to capture actual gameplay footage of me playing these games right now. I'm going to have a go at it now, see what I can do, but we may be relying on clips, existing trailers for the time being, basically because I haven't got the best setup for recording now. I don't have a laptop, so I can't just take it to where I've got my PlayStation and plug it in and record. I either have to take my monitor and my PlayStation to my computer, or take my computer to the where the PlayStation is, so that isn't very easy to do at the minute, so bear with me. We'll get these back up to the usual type of videos you'd be expecting from Parry's Pickups soon enough, I think. So thanks again for watching, and game on.